Alright, it's been a few hours since Game 6 ended of the 2012 Stanley Cup Finals. The LA Kings defeated the Devils by a score of 6-1, and the Los Angeles Kings won the series by a score of 4 games to 2, and the Los Angeles Kings won the Stanley Cup tonight. And the game was pretty much decided in the first period when it was 3-0. Now, many people are going to call out Steve Bernier for taking a 5-minute boarding major in a game misconduct for costing us the series, which is something that he should not be blamed for losing the series. When you have a penalty kill, you're supposed to kill off the penalty. Maybe if we only let up one goal there, we could survive that. But the penalty kill has to come up. We're a team. Everyone on the roster has a job to do, and you don't let one person hang out to dry. That is not the Devil's way. Never has been. And there will be redemption for Steve Bernier. And he played his ass off in this season for the Devils. He played in Albany. First, he got invited to training camp, didn't make it, got released. Midway through the season, got signed to Albany, busted his ass in Albany, earned a call-up, and played his ass off in the playoffs for this team. So no one should be blaming him at all. This was one of the most memorable Devil seasons in my life. This is the first year I had season tickets, so I was at the games even more, which just made everything so amazing, and you got to meet a bunch of new Devil fans and made some friends. This season is one I'll never forget. Never. So many great moments. And this team should be remembered for the build up, the way it was groomed through the season, and how we just got better and better as the season progressed. And I just want to go through some of my great moments of the season, and maybe you guys want to share yours, because I cried. Uh, you know, I was really upset. You knew the game was over. It was a blowout, and it really got me when I saw Marty on the handshake line with Quick, and the look in Marty's eyes. You knew he wanted it, and that I lost it there. I cried for a little bit, and it hurt. And I'll get to the free agent stuff later, but we'll talk about Zach in a little bit. But I just want to go over the building of this team. October 22nd, we called up a young man by the name of Adam Henrique. Might have been a good move. I think it was. On October 26th, the Florida Panthers put Ryan Carter on waivers. On October 27th, New Jersey Devils claimed Ryan Carter off of waivers. Peter DeBoer coached him the previous year, and Ryan Carter was one of the main reasons why we got to the Stanley Cup Finals, if you could believe that. I'm just going through the transactions here because to get the days right. Josephson got hurt, which caused all these call-ups. Teddenby didn't work out this year. And January 30th, we recalled Steve Bernier. Larson played. He was hurt. That's another building block for next year. We called up Peter Harold. That worked. Harold was fine. February 24th, 2012, I was in my seat at the Devil game when they flashed on the scoreboard. Devils acquire Marek Zidwicki from the Minnesota Wild in exchange for Curtis Foster, Nick Palmieri, Stefan Veilleux, Washington's second-round draft choice in 2012 draft, and a conditional choice in 2013. Oh yeah, forgot to mention that we acquired Curtis Foster earlier in the season. That didn't work out too well. Glad we got rid of him. And then on trade deadline day, we were quiet, no moves by Lou, and we had one more move left in us. That was April 6, 2012. We recalled the captain of the Albany Devils to play in the New Jersey Devils, to play in the final regular season game, so one of our regular players wouldn't play, so he doesn't get hurt for the playoffs. And Steven Gionta is called up. And Steven Gionta gets called up for the last regular season game against Ottawa. And it was one that he will never forget, because Steven Gionta scored the game-winning goal in that game. And if he doesn't score that goal, he may not have played a second in the playoffs. So that was one of the biggest moments of the Devils season. I'm just going over some of my favorite regular season games of the season. I'm just going to give a top 5, no particular order. April 5th, 2012, Devils, Red Wings at Joe Louis Arena. Devils won the game 2-1. Devils hadn't won in the Joe in forever. And Sikora snapped a wrister to give us the lead. And we win the game 2-1. Always nice to win in the Joe. That's pretty much a legendary arena right there. Another game on my list is a March 27th at the Rock. Blackhawks, Devils. We won that game in a shootout. 2-1. Brodeur had 37 saves. Zajac scored in the shootout, give us the win. It was a big win because we had to get those points to get ahead of Ottawa and Washington late in the season. Because if you remember, we were close to maybe dropping 7th or 8th. And, you wanted to get that 6th. A lot of people wanted to play Florida. I, for one, was not one who wanted to play Florida because I was afraid of their speed, which was something to be afraid of. But I'll get to that in a moment. January 31st, 2012, Prudential Center. Devils beat the Rangers 4-3. You'll probably remember this game. Um, freak uh, freak bounce off the boards on a dump in, and Clarkson buried it past Marty Biron, and Devils tied that game late with like 30 seconds left, something crazy like that, and then the Devils won in a shootout. It looked like the Devils were going to win that game. We're going to lose the game. Del Zotto had a good game, I remember, for the Rangers. Parisi had a goal. Clarkson had a goal and assist. And I remember being at that game where he stopped Gabrick on the shootout. Like, they had Stefan Richards, Gabrick, and Gabrick tried to deke him. He patted it away, and that was the end of the game. It was pretty ridiculous. Always nice to beat the Rangers. They didn't want to play Lundqvist against us, so we beat Marty Biron anyway. That was a fun game to be at. Another game you may not forget, you may not remember, sorry. November 5th, 2011, Jets of Winnipeg at the Devils of New Jersey. Devils won the game 3-2 in overtime. Devils are winning 2-0 going into the third. Winnipeg scores 2 goals in the third. You're like, oh, don't tell me you're going to lose to Winnipeg. Then the rookie, Adam Henrique, scores on a breakaway to score a second of the game, win the game in overtime. I'm going nuts in my seat. That was Marty's first win of the season. One of the best. That's a great moment right there. Henrique, that's when you got that vision, like, wow, Henrique could be something special here. And it turned out to be true. And the other game, the last game of the season against Ottawa, once again, that was always want to finish out the season strong. Always want to finish out the regular season strong. That game is always important to me. Game 82, never want to lose that game. Whether if you're making the playoffs or not, you want to end the regular season, on a high note, regardless. Devils, previous season when they didn't make the playoffs, they wound up beating the Stanley Cup champions, Boston Bruins, in the last game of the regular season. And in that game, Adam Henrique made his NHL debut. So, kind of nice stats there. And then the Devils would make the journey to the NHL playoffs after a 1-year vacation from it, if you will. And the Devils would put up against the Florida Panthers, who many said would beat the Devils. And I was one who said this was a terrible matchup for the Devils. The speed that they had on the wings with Versteeg and Fleischmann, Bergenheim, the defense with Campbell and Jovanovski. I did not like this team at all. The goaltending, Theodore and Clemenson, they were solid goaltenders. People didn't want to play Pittsburgh. And what could happen to Pittsburgh? They gave up about 88 goals in the first round against Philadelphia. But wound up winning game 1, lose game 2 and game 3. Game 3, heartbreaker, up 4-0. Up 3-0, lose 4-3. Hedberg gets the loss. Terrible. Wound up winning game 4, 4-0. Tie the series. Big game 5 back in Florida. We lose that. We shut out 3-0. Then we come home, down 3-2. I don't even go to the game. I'm too nervous. We're up 2-0 in the game, facing elimination. We give up 2 goals, send it to OT. And Travis Zajac gets a pass, breaks in, 5-hole on Clemenson, send it back to Sunrise. In Game 7 in Florida, you want to talk about hard problems. Another lead, we blow it. Send it to double OT. No goals in OT. Double OT, a scramble, bouncing puck. Henrique controls it around the face-off circle, and 5 holes it past Jose Theodore. And the Devils advance to the second round. I go nuts in my room. And then we face our foes, our rivals, the Philadelphia Flyers. We lose Game 1 in overtime. Danny Briere. We're down 1-0 in the series. Game 2, we're losing. Then all of a sudden, Adam Larson gets a goal. Then all of a sudden, the wheels come off. Zubers gets 2 assists. Zajac gets a goal. We win the game 4-1. Boom. 1-1. Back to Jersey. Game 3. You know who scored that goal. Kovalchuk in overtime. Passes to Ponikarovsky 2-on-1 with Andy Green. Shot. Save Brizgalov. He saved one. But rebound right to Ponikarovsky. Backhands it right into the net. And the Devils take a 2-1 series lead. Game 4, Devils win 4-2. 2 goals by Dinah Zubris. And Game 5, Devils up 3-1, going in for the kill. Sal gets a goal. And in the third period, Covey cranks one off the crossbar into the net. And that pulled the life out of the Flyers and their fans. And the Devils won that series in 5 to take on, in the Eastern Conference Finals, the New York Rangers. I did not want this matchup. I was praying for Washington. They lose Game 1 3-0. I'm like, oh, Jesus. We win Game 2 on a David Clarkson deflection goal. Oof. And we're like, all right, I could breathe a little. We lose Game 3 3-0. And it was like, being at that game was rough. So I didn't even go to Game 4. We win that one 4-1. So then we're tied at 2. And now it's a best of 3. Devils go up 3-0 in the first on Lundqvist. The Rangers tie it off on a Brodeur misplay. And then there's a dump in the third, late in the third. Covey centers it to Ryan Carter, who buries it past Lundqvist. Devils take the lead. Parisi with the empty netter. 5-3 Devils. Victory. And we go on to Game 6. A game I will never forget. The greatest sporting event I have ever attended. I have been to over 1,000 sporting events in my life. This was the greatest game moment of my life. Devils take another 1-0 lead. Then you get the sickest power play goal you will ever see. I think everyone on the Devils touched the ice, touched the puck. Pass, 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 Kovalchuk, boom, 2-0. That's it. There's no way the Rangers can come back. Well, they do. They do. Fedotenko and Callahan, 2-2. And I'm ready to jump off the balcony. And then the greatest moment I've ever seen of Devils hockey in person occurred. And I didn't believe it when I first saw it.
Corner.
But
Looks
this
around,
is
flips
it.
it on goal, deflected, knocked down in front. It's still loose. It's still free. Nobody can get a shot on that. Punt across, gets a drive. It's blocked, and they score. The Devils score. Adam Henrique, the rookie, puts it home. A minute 3 into overtime, and the Devils move on to the Stanley Cup Finals.
That's right. Adam Henrique, in overtime, sends the Devils to the Stanley Cup Finals. Matt Laughlin with the call, WFAN. Being there, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I was jumping up and down with all my friends, my cousin, Ranger fans crying. And I never heard the arena that loud in my life. And then we went on to play the Los Angeles Kings, where we lost games 1 and 2 in overtime. Game 3 was 4-0, Stanley Cup Finals. We're down 3-0. The parade is happening right after Game 4. But something happened. Adam Henrique showed up again and scored the game winner to make it 3-1 LA. Okay, no problem. Send it back for a Game 5. Jonathan Quick misplay. Parisi, goal. Back of the net, wraparound. Jams at home. Justin Williams ties it. In the second period, Salvador, again, Mr. Clutch, shoots one off Slava Voinov. And he's credited with the goal. Salvador is 2-1. Devils win. And that would be the last win of the Devils season. The Devils would fall 6-1 to the Kings in Game 6. But it's nothing to be ashamed of. Eastern Conference champion New Jersey Devils. Ain't too shabby. Peter DeBoer, what a job he did with this team. People doubted him. He's a junior coach. He came from Kitchener, went to Florida. Why would you hire him? Because he wasn't given the talent in Florida. But when he had with the talent he had, he pushed. That team was hard to play against. And he had no talent, really. Florida was only good this year because they brought in the Blackhawks GM, and he was given the rights to spend money. And the Florida Panthers won their division. Ain't bad. Made the playoffs for the first time since the year 2000. Adam Oates, power play. It was okay. He is what he is. Larry Robinson, legendary coach. Dave Barr, he did fine. Chris Terreri, goaltending coach. I don't know what he has to coach to Brodeur and Hedberg, but he coaches. Uncle Lou Lamoriello, What can you say? Another great job by him. Another great job. Um, I've forgotten the transactions. We acquired Ponikarovsky for a minor leaguer. Um, if I missed any other transactions, I'm sorry. It is 5:19 a.m. I do want to go over all of the free agents for the 2012-13 season, if there is one. Hopefully there is. No lockout, please. Zach Parise is an unrestricted free agent. I do not think he will play another game for the New Jersey Devils. I think there's too much money invested with Kovalchuk. We will have to re-sign Henrique after this upcoming 12-13 season. He will be asking for a lot of money. Zajac is up after the 12-13 season. He will be asking for a lot of money. And I think I would love for him to stay with the Devils, but the price will be too much. And if the price is too much, where his money deducts from where we could spend on other positions and makes us weaker at other positions, I would rather be more overall solid in the whole team than have one superstar, two superstars, and Kovalchuk and Parise, instead of maybe using Parise's money. Say he makes $7 million a year, six and a half, $7 million a year. Instead of using that to sign one person at $7 million, maybe you can sign two or three for that $7 million, and groom a team around that. Ponikarovsky, again, a big body. He made 1.1 this year. Wouldn't mind seeing him coming back, but he's a very interchangeable part. He can come, he can go. He will be. What he does is not something that is not found in another NHL player. He can be replaced. But it would be great to have him back. Ryan Carter, must re-sign him. Fourth line specialty, perfect player, perfect Devil. Peter Sikora, he was a healthy scratch in a lot of the playoff games. If he comes back for the league minimum again, yeah. If not, I guess you gotta let him go. Who knows who wants to play again, but legendary Devil. Cam Jansen, love the guy, but he has no role for this New Jersey Devil team. He can walk. Steve Bernier, I want them to resign. He deserves to be on this team. He gave his heart and soul for this team, and I don't want Devil fans to boo him ever. I'll support him forever. I hope he resigns. Steven Gianta, he should be re-signed tomorrow. That guy is 5'7". He plays like he's 7'7". Just guts. Every team in the NHL wish you had a guy who played as hard as Steven Gianta. On the defensive end, Mark Fane, restricted free agent. He's not going anywhere. One guy who will not be with the Devils next year is Bryce Salvador. He played too well in the playoffs to come back with the Devils, if that is possible. He'll be offered a large contract by a team. Well-deserved. Class act. Stayed out of the whole 10-11 season with a concussion. Came back, played all 82 games in the regular season. Great player. I wish him nothing but the best, but I know he won't be back. Peter Harold, sure, we'll have to have him back. didn't show me any reason why he shouldn't be re-signed, and he's not a player that will field a large amount of money, so get him signed would be nice. And we have no goalie signed for next year. Martin Brodeur and Johan Hedberg's contracts are up. I do not think Johan Hedberg will be back. He may retire, maybe KHL or another NHL team. Maybe when he would get more starting time. Because I think Martin Brodeur will re-sign with the Devils, and the Devils will trade or sign a free agent goaltender, a mid-level goaltender, to play the 12-13 season, while our big prospects, Maxime Clermont and Scott Wedgwood, develop in the minors and juniors. I don't think they will be ready until the 13-14 season. So we will bridge the gap this year with Brodeur, with the 12-13 season, bridge the gap with Brodeur and a goalie like, not like a Brian Elliott type signing, like a guy who a goalie on the cheap, was veteran, solid, not too old. That and Marty and this other goalie will combine for 50 games for the new guy, 30 for Marty, or vice versa, something like that. I think that's what will happen. And I just want to say thank you to all the Devil fans, friends, everyone that I've met this season. It was the best time of my life. Really, having that book of season tickets and knowing that when you go to those games, you have a smile that day when you wake up. And to go to bed this morning and you wake up and there's no more games, it stinks. But I have my ticket. I hope you get yours, or have one already. October 2nd at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. The New York Islanders will play the New Jersey Devils in a preseason game. I can't wait to see that brand new venue. Can't wait to see the team again. And, let's enjoy this off season. One more thing, we probably will not have a first round pick due to the NHL saying our Kovalchuk contract was illegal. So don't expect the first round pick from the Devils this year unless we work out a trade, which could happen with Zach Parisi's rights. Who knows? Stay tuned to TSN, Hockey Buzz, Twitter, all your favorite hockey rumor locations. And I'm proud to be a Devil fan. It's going to take a little while to get over this one, but I'll speak to you guys soon. Let's go Devils. And Marty will always be better.